Alright, welcome once again. This month we will continue to create the rest of the hair for Ghost. Previously we already have explored how we can create the face normals and other intrinsic things to stylize his head. But today we're going to go around, we're going to see how to create hair in this fashion. Now this hair does not react to light. This is a quick shader trick I wanted to show you so that you can also apply it onto your models. So this means that the light will not cast a shadow, but rather this is created using the normal of the object, in this case, plus the UVs that are automatically created in every curve. Every time you create a curve for doing the traditional, stylized hair, you can also map a shader so that it can always be one face up to the light and the rest of the parts can be covered in shadow. So let's go quickly over how to create that curve. Now we all can use the menu to shift A, add curve, and now we need to align that curve exactly as we're going to see it on the viewport. The intention here is to have the origin point exactly at the start of the curve. So I'm going to be aligning this right there, like in the middle of the world, in the origin of the world, and then going back to the object mode. And from there, this little trick will help you a lot. You know how we always use face project? Well, you can also use face nearest for best performance when you're placing hair over the top of the head, specifically in the scalp. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to grab the curve and now I'm going to drag it on top of his head. Now, as you can see, if the snapping option is active, then you can rotate, drag, and move the hair and it will automatically stick on the top of the head. Now, this is important because when we are layering hair, this is going to determine which surface it's going to stick to. Either to the top of the head, the scalp, or to the other surrounding meshes, like in this case. Let me show you. So here I'm modifying the curve, and every point I take from that curve is automatically snapped onto the surface of the head, like this. Isn't that awesome? This will allow you to always create hair very close to the surface of the head, and that is exactly what we want. You can also align the poles that you see right here and to the surrounding of the hairs. But if you don't want that, you can deactivate the snapping option and then you can move them freely. Here's another example. With the snapping option active, as you can see up there, I can move again my poles and they will automatically stick to a nearby surface. This is important because I have layering hair already created surrounding this strand, so the strand will automatically try to snap itself onto either the top of the head or to the surrounding strands. Look at that. It automatically sticks to the surface. So you can continue to duplicate, you can continue this process to do it once again, obviously moving it in object mode, and after that you can adjust the curves themselves, and shift tab is going to allow you to toggle in between snapping or unsnapping options. So going back to our original hair strands, as you can see, we can scale them, we can move them, we can rotate them, we can toggle them around the head, and they will always stick to the surface. This is important because that's how you model every hair strand, stylized hair strand. Now let's not forget that curves will work with curves object and those subdivisions as well. And in the bevel option, in the object tab, you're going to select that additional curve object which is closed so that you can create this beveled object. Also with Alt S you can scale the size of the curve. Now obviously, just exactly like a hair strand, you're going to have your root a little bit thicker and then your end point smaller, so you can scale them as well. Now this is important because I have explained this in other videos that the resolution preview for the U factor that you have right here is going to determine how round or how soft that curve is. Right now I'm striving for less polygons, so I'm going to downgrade this curve from 3, maybe 2, and that's our goal. It looks good, but on the under part right here we see more subdivision. So what we got to do is to delete this vertex, okay, by pressing X, then select vertex, and now you can see that the downside of that hair strand has less subdivisions. That is what we want. Okay, if I move this again, it will stick to the forehead, which is important when we're ahead in the video. But right now I'm also going to show you that, just in case that you didn't know, if you press Ctrl T, you can twist the curve. Okay, this is important because when you're creating these strands and layering on top of each other, it is important that you understand how the twisting is going to work. Also, never forget that you always want to create your curves with your origin set to the top of the head. Do not take away the curve outside the head. So it is best that the hair curve interacts with the hair scalp, or at least that it's drawn on top of the surface. Now you can also move your vector poles by pressing V. Select one pole and then press V, and you can select from free, automatic, or vector. Alright, so those are the basics for the hair, and you can see the entire process in the time lapse. Okay, let's talk about now about the shader. So you can check this out, put pause on the video, copy this setup, because what it's going to do, it's going to take the normal of the strand object, or in this case the hair object, and then it's going to tell it, alright, every face that it's looking up, it's going to be lit, and every face that is looking down is going to be shadow. Of course, I need an additional vector, which in this case is Z, and then I'm going to mix it with these two factors for a mix to RGB color. And obviously I can choose the color I want for the lighter part, which is white, and the darker part, which is black. And I'm going to select every other curve, and then Ctrl L. It's going to link the material to this last curve selection that I have here in the forehead. And that's how you can assign the entire curves the same material. Now this material will not react to light, but I'm going to be using a trick so that you can also use this material for your character and stylize it specifically so that you do not have to open many UVs for the hair. This is important. This is why I created this way. Alright, let's reapply every other modifier that we created previously for the face, and this is the model and how it is looking up to this point. Thank you so much for your support. I know this has been a very slow month, but I had a lot of difficulties, including machine crashes and driver updates and stuff like that. But we're going to continue to develop this character fully. Okay, I think this is just the 15% of the entire project, so thank you very much for your patience with this, and you should get this on your direct message on Patreon. Thank you very much for your support, and now I leave you with the time-lapse video. Thank you very much.
Sound Production. Sound Production. Sound Production.
This is Phase Music.